This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. One of the things that's not that obvious if you've not tried some of the different modelers that there are out there, the Fractal stuff basically has just more of everything than everything else. A case in point, and this is what today's video is about, is the Marshall kind of style models within the Fractal universe. The Fractal stuff has more Marshalls than the rest of them have real amps. That's quite incredible. There's a whole bunch of stuff from vintage style plexis, JCM 800s, all the way to sort of more modern takes on the Marshall thing, like my personal favourite stuff in there, the Friedmans. You've got some boutique kind of hot-rodded Marshall stuff like the Splawns. Of course you've got Soldano and stuff. I'm not going to cover that in this video because I think Soldano is sort of its own little thing. Yeah, you've just got such an incredible range, so I wanted to make a video about that today. The intro I was using the preset Marshalls Galore, which I'll chuck into my Gumroad folder if you want to check that out. Basically, the Gumroad folder, if you buy that, there'll be a link which you can bookmark and come back for future presets and stuff like that if you want. So it's like a growing folder. That preset should work on FM3, Axe-FX 3, or FM9. I wanted to take a look today at a kind of area of the Fractal universe which is really indisputable. In the Fractal world, we actually have a very rich palette of Marshall style amplifiers. So from actual Marshalls to Marshall inspired sort of clones and bits and pieces, there are actually way over 80 of these kind of models, and I wanted to do a video today kind of looking at some of these. So I'm going to pick one cab for the whole lot. We'll go with Legacy Cab 103, and that works kind of nicely. Basket Weed TV, it's going to be a Marshall-ish thing. Right, so let's just jump into amps. Amp 1. Okay, click here. So let's look here. Basically, we start off with some Fender style stuff. Then 1959, we've got some Plexi style stuff here, right? Then Big Hair, this is essentially somewhat Marshall based. Blankenship leads, this is based on a small 18 watt Marshall. Then we've obviously got Brit 800, these are some JCM 800 type things. I think a Slash amp, Brit Brown, the JM45, we've got the JVM, which is the kind of more modern flagship Marshall amp, some preamps, Brit Silver, one of my favorites, and then the most modern Marshall, the Brit Studio 20, which is their kind of more modern take on 20 watt style amps and stuff. Brit Super,
The Cameron amps, these are somewhat Marshall inspired. What else have we got going on? Dirty Shirley, obviously. Friedman, a lot of their stuff is based on very much Marshall type stuff. We got some FAS amps that FAS Brown probably fits within the Marshall kind of family. Then, of course, probably some of my favourite Marshall style amps here, the Friedman stuff, as I've already said with the Dirty Shirley and the small box. Then we got the JM preamp. So this is obviously based on the famous Marshall rack preamp. We've got the JS410, which is Joe Satriani's signature Marshall amp, sort of same sort of era as the JVM, I think. Keep going, we've got some plexis here, a load of plexis. Then keep going. Splawn, essentially these were in the 90s, some fairly famous 90s, 2000s, famous kind of hot rodding Marshall type folks. Sir Badgers are kind of Marshall-y as well. So there's just so much choice. Also, there's the Cornford M50. That one's also pretty much within that kind of realm of stuff. So I think one of my favorites would be the Brit Silver. So let's just jump in there. One of the things with Marshall is that you can sort of start with the tone stack more or less anywhere. But I think a real key with some of the Marshall stuff as well is to have higher sort of master volume. The Friedman stuff is really lovely and a little bit more refined. of low headroom type stuff from that. Let's maybe switch that out for something different. I think the JVM is kind of really cool. As I said, there's 80 to choose from. You can go completely bonkers. More Marshalls in the Fractal than there are amp models in most other amps. I think that'd be fair to say. So if you're a Marshall fan, I think Fractal is the place to be. There's just so much choice there that you could go for, and I think you probably never get bored. Check out G66 UK for your units if you're based in the UK, and cheers for now. Here's the preset that I've come up with that I was using in the introduction there. Basically what I've got going on, I've got the Silver Jubilee, the BE100, the JVM and the 100 watt Plexi, and then I've also used the delay and enhance to basically just give you a solo option for each of them. So just going through it quickly, the Plexi really cleans up lovely. Some of my favourite cleans, I think, possibly in the Fractal, there with the Plexi kind of backing that volume off and maybe using a coil tap just sounds wonderful, I think. I'll catch you in another video soon. If you want to grab this, it will be in the Gumroad folder, which is kind of updating as you go. So just keep hold of the link that you get once you've bought the presets, and you can keep coming back and grabbing these new presets if they sound like something you're interested in. Cheers.